Today I'll show you how to install your Epic and GOG games using the Hero Games Launcher. And yes, this does include importing these games into your Steam Deck's game UI. So first, you'll want to go into the Discover app, and you'll want to look up Heroic Games Launcher. There will be an install button. All you have to do is click it and then you're good to go. Once you've installed it, you want to go ahead and launch the Heroic Games Launcher. Once you launch it, you'll have the option of logging into both your GOG and your Epic account. I happen to have an account for both of these. You would just log into both services as you normally would. So I'm just going to skip all this. Once you've logged into both of your accounts, all you have to do is go into Library and then you can start installing games directly. That said, before we actually install any games, I have a recommendation for you. You'll want to install Flatseal. Flatseal gives all of your Flatpak applications extra permissions, more or less. Not a very technical description, but whatever, I guess. As you can see here, these are all the permissions that you have. There are quite a few of them, but we're only going to focus on adding SD card support. If you properly format your SD card through the Steam Deck UI, this is the directory that your SD card files will live in. For convenience sake, I added it to all applications, and you can also enable all user files as well, for even easier use. Now you can filter games through Epic, GOG, or have them both, side by side. I'm gonna pick Ghost Runner because I honestly haven't played this game yet. The installation process is typically pretty simple. Select your install path, select where your wine prefix will be, and your wine version. I'm just gonna leave everything by default. Be sure to install all DLC if you're into that. Do note that you can't seem to queue up installs, so you can only install one game at a time. Which I guess isn't too bad, I guess. Now that that's installed, let's install an Epic game instead. I got this game right here for free, Remnant from the Ashes. You can actually just click the download button to begin the process. Now you may be wondering how to install games to your SD card. Well, all you have to do is click that folder icon in the install path, and then scroll down, all the way down till you see Primary. It'll automatically create its own subfolder within a folder, so you don't have to worry about making a specific game folder. I suggest leaving your wine prefix on your SSD to make things run a little smoother. And there you go, Remnant is now installing onto your SD card. It may take longer to install because, you know, it's an SD card and not an SSD, so like, this is gonna take a bit. So I'll see you in a bit. Yeah, so Remnant was taking a bit too long for me, so I decided to install Demon's Tilt instead. And if you've installed a game through the Hero Games Launcher previously, like an Epic game or something of the sort, then there is a neat little feature you can use to import those games directly into Hero Games Launcher instead of, like, you know, reinstalling it. As you can see here, I've already installed Daemon X Machina once, but due to the fact that I made some upgrades to my Steam Deck, all of my settings and everything I had previously, well, it's all gone now. So basically click on Import Game, and then you'll want to go into the game directory. Daemon X Machina for me right there. And just like that, Daemon X Machina is ready for me to play. You can do this with basically any Epic game out there that you've already pre-installed. And for an easy import solution, you can just use Boiler. I've already made a video on Boiler once, so you can just watch that video as well. Due to some quirk of Hero Games Launcher, before you attempt to launch the games through the Steam shortcuts that you created through Boiler, you will have to launch them through the Hero Games Launcher first. But you can ultimately add the Hero Games Launcher itself to Steam. Just know that you have to do this with every game that you install before you, well, you know, try to launch the Steam shortcut, otherwise you'll come across a bunch of issues. There are a bunch of runners that you can use to tweak your experience. There's Proton, there's Proton GE, there's Wine GE, there's Wine Lutris. Ultimately, I'm just sticking with Proton 7.0 because that's what's default. And would you look at that? Daemon X Machina. Beautiful. That said, Epic and GOG titles can be broken in ways that their Steam versions just simply aren't. Like, for example, the opening cutscene for Ghost Runner. Well, I'm pretty sure it's more like credits, I'm not really sure. But the point is that it's broken. You can skip it by pressing A, but the fact of the matter is it's still broken, and probably wouldn't be if you just bought it from Steam. But I mean, the game works. Hopefully you're acclimated with the experience and perhaps, you know, maybe watch this a couple of times if you need a refresher.